All right, welcome back to Flippin Tail. Today I'm going to show you guys how to make some deep drop tile rigs. On Florida's East Coast, golden tile season opens up on January 1. You're basically allowed one per person for your grouper aggregate. So if you got 6 people on the boat, you can have 6 golden tile, along with 2 other species of grouper. These are the deep drop rigs that you need to catch those tile fish, and they work great. So I'm going to walk you through what I have. I've got 300-pound monofilament line. So we have our 3X strong circle hooks, 8/0. Some people use 10/0. I find the 10/0 you don't hook as good. I've got our nice little glow-in-the-dark squid heads. I've got our slide swivels right here. And so for each connection that we're going to make on each swivel, we are going to have a crimp. So just to go over here, these are our 300-pound little slide swivel sleeves. These are our squid skirts. They're glow in the dark. This is a bag of our 300-pound crimps. We like the Mustad Ultra Point circle hooks. These are actually 3X strong. I got my little crimping tool, I got my little cutters, and I got a lighter, and I'll show you what I'm going to use that for. So that's basically everything we're going to work with. We're going to make 1, 2, 3 rigs. So I basically like to use about 16 to 18 inch for our hooks, right? So you have a natural curvature of your line, right? So if you picture it coming off the main line, you kind of want it to curve out like that. First, you're going to put your little crimp sleeve on. Okay. I like to go from the back side of the hook. Okay. Kind of the same direction as the hook goes, right? Sometimes you can't get that through there because it's not a clean cut. All right. Here's a big secret you want to do, right? You want to melt the end of this and make it flat. Okay. So when you pull it, it just adds a little extra security on that thing, okay? Now, very important. If you pull it really, really, really tight, then the hook gets kind of stuck like that. So you want the hook to kind of sit and be able to free swing. You want the hook to free swing, okay? Now, when you're crimping, proper crimping technique, right? Watch. I got it sideways, right? We're gonna crimp on the top end and the bottom end, and then in the middle. Now, that, my friends, is a genuine crimp. That's what it should look like. Some people crimp it flat. I'm not crimping it flat. So now we want about 18 inches finished, right? We'll go a little extra inch there. Okay. I'm gonna go ahead and cut it. Now I'm gonna go ahead and do all my hooks ahead of time so I can pre-measure these things. We got basically 6 hooks because we're gonna do 2 hook rigs. They're all done. So, right, this is going on our main leader. So the next thing that we got to do, we want to get our squid head on, and we're going to get our little slide swivel hooked up. So in order to get these squids on, they have a closed head, so you do have to cut those. When you do cut these, you don't want them too big because they're going to be sliding up and down the line. So be very, very careful with how much. You just don't want too big of a hole. It's all gonna be mess. So yeah, there you go. You have a little tiny hole in there. So basically watch. We're gonna take that face down, tail up. That's the way we like to rig them up. Right? So see how that sticks? So that squid head is going to go all the way down there, right? So that's like your finished product when you're rigging. Boom, okay? So remember the curvature, right? We got the curvature, So now we're going to keep the curved end to where it sits on the main line like that. I'm going to go through our swivel, our little slide swivel. Okay. We're going to do the same thing. We're going to melt it for a little extra security. Flatten it out. Okay. Pull it tight. Same kind of thing. We want it to rotate a little bit there. Another good crimp. You're leaving just a smidgen on the edge there, straight up and down. Okay? I always make that grit face when I do it. Can't help it. All right, so that one's ready. All right, that's our main hook set. So that's gonna go on our main line, all right? That's a good looking crimp right there. That's what our hook looks like. So I'm gonna go through, I'm gonna do the other 5 of these. We have 6 main hook sets that's gonna go on our main leader. So we're gonna put 2 per main line. We're gonna use the same 300-pound main line. I'm gonna work from the bottom up. I'm gonna show you why, okay? We're gonna go ahead and just put 2 of these on there. There's 1, there's 2, okay? Hey Josh, why don't you just cut 3 main lines all the same length, because you know how long they need to be? Well, I happened to cut one a little short because I forgot to put a squid skirt on, to be honest. So here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna put our bottom snap swivel for the weight, okay? Like so. We're always gonna use the natural curvature of the line. Flatten the end just for a little added support. Flatten it out. Okay. Pull that down on the swivel. Same thing, we want it to rock a little bit. Now we're gonna get our crimp on here. These are easy crimps, these little aluminum clips, they're easy crimps. Okay. I always make that crimp face. Ah. All right. Now, picture this. Out in the water, the weight is connected to this. We're fishing for these tile fish in 600 foot plus of water, okay? So we're using electric reels, and they're reeling up, and so the fish is going back and forth on the way up, and we don't want it to necessarily bang into that weight, okay? But we do want it close to the bottom. So I want my finished product. So maybe what's gonna bang into the weight is the tail and not the main meat, okay? So we're gonna measure that, and we're gonna go ahead and crimp right here. Now when you crimp these are a little tougher, okay? And I've done this before where I didn't crimp it hard enough and they slid down, took the weights off, and I lost some pretty big fish. Big yellow edges. So now we just really crimp as much as we can on that, okay? And that's what a good crimp looks like on these, right? So there, that's our weight. So the next one we're gonna take the one we've already crimped on, we're gonna go up our line, okay? Because what we don't want to happen is the 2 hooks to hook at any time, right? So when we measure where the placement is, as long as those hooks can't hit each other, is right where we want to crimp the next one, okay? So we're gonna crimp this one right here. 1, 2, 1, 2. Now to our main line, right? Because on the way down, this hook's going to be way up top. but we don't want the hook to get around anything up top, right? So we're just gonna come up maybe 4 inches is all you need. You just, when it's floating down, you don't want anything to wrap up here, right? So that's where we're gonna put our swivel that we're going to clip our main line from the reel onto, okay? Again, we're gonna flatten that out. Pull it somewhat tight. We still want some play in that, just a little bit. We go ahead and do our final aluminum crimp on this line. Okay. All right. From the top that hooks into the main line, our hook is not above that, right? So when it drops down, okay, it's dropping up way up here. Okay, so then when it goes down, right? So the next closest one, the hooks do not touch. Okay, you never want the hooks to touch. So then that one goes down, and then our weight's at the very bottom. So picture the bottom fish hooked onto here. You know, the main meat of it's here. The weight is way down here. They do feed on the bottom. So you do want this as close to the bottom as you can get it. You just don't want to beat your meat up on the way up, right? I mean, any other time it's okay, but not when you're fishing for golden tile. You do big, nice loops. Okay, that's our finished product. So yeah, our little glow skirts are great. Squid works the best, but I personally don't like buying bait all the time. So I will save all my dolphin bellies all year, and dolphin bellies work really good. You just literally put one hook through the tip, hanging out about 6 inches. If you're using squid, I'll show you how to rig it on the boat, but through the tip of the head, pull the eyelet through it, and then hook it back through. And the squid should look like this guy. And you pull that over top of it. This is like my personal knitting needle. Ha! Yeah. Crochet? Nah. Just rigging. Guarantee you this is gonna work great. What goes along with this, we're also gonna use a deep drop lead. So this is a deep drop lead. I believe this one is 7 pounds. They say buy a variety of 6 pound, 7 pound, and 8 pound. So basically how the tile fish work, there's holes in the mud. They're not on rocks, they're in mud. So you want a super muddy bottom. So basically the tile fish, they back down into the hole and their little heads sit out of the hole, and these things drag across the bottom and they pop their head out and they grab the bait. That's why when they come up, they're like got this super silk, smooth skin. They're really a beautiful fish. Really good to eat. If you do get the golden tile fish, I mean, they're great any way you want to cook them. It doesn't matter. You can grill them, you can fry them, you can saute them. I personally find garlic salt, brown sugar, a little bit of honey. Throw it on the grill. That's where it's at. If you want to fry it, use some honey for the adhesion, and crush up some Ritz crackers and throw a little garlic salt in that and fry those, and phenomenal. So that's my recipes for golden tile. Hopefully you guys learn how to make your rigs. I can't tell you how to catch them. Try to keep the line of your rod straight up and down. A lot of people back into the current. I'll drop the line. I keep my nose facing 180 degrees south. and I just try to keep that line vertical, straight up and down. I can tell you, when you see the rod start bobbing, I tell everybody on the boat, count to 5. 1 1,000, 2 1,000, 3 1,000, 4 1,000, 5 1,000. Engage, full engage, set the hook, and then back off a little bit. Some people run it full wide open. I don't personally, but you gotta be on the bottom to catch these fish. So, I mean, that's your tutorial on this. I hope you guys learned something, and I hope you guys get some good eats. Hey, do me a favor. If anything in this video helped you out, you liked it, please share a like, leave a comment, go out and hang some fish. And I'll see you out there on Flippin Tail.